All right, here we go, Ante. We're partying now, baby. Joined by former NBAer and current analyst of the game, Ryan Hollins. Welcome to Hold My Banner, my friend. It's good to have you.
Man, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me.
Man, it's our pleasure. Now, I want to start here because Ante is from Inglewood. I married a Bruin. So, Ryan, I want to just jump out right away. I want to jump out the window with California love on this show to you and ask you, because I know you grew up in Pasadena, right? So tell me about growing up there. Eventually, you became a Bruin. Just talk to me about growing up in such a hoops haven like L.A.
Man, for one, we take you guys as honorary Bruins, okay? We settled that score already. You're in. But, Pasadena, a lot of people don't know. They just think Rose Bowl and everything, but we're a small town. But again, humble beginnings for me, man. I had an amazing mother and father. I have no complaints there. But I was the hard worker, the underrated guy, the one that was cut, off the freshman team that got a chip on his shoulder and just had to go out and work, man. But we love to play ball. So it was hitting the parks, 3-4 parks a day. You ride your bike or you have your homie, the one homie with the car. And, we stuffed in there like sardines going in trying to find a run. So, Pasadena was everything. And it really molded my career, I would say, playing on the streets to, embracing the trash talk, the hoop culture. And, my brothers, man, we love basketball. We just played all day long. So, I was privileged to be the one that made it, man. Iron sharpens iron, man. So I love where I came from.
Look, I got to ask you about being a UCLA Bruin. You got to take me through your national title run. How does a team that got bounced the year before in your junior year in the first round lose their number one scorer going into your senior year, end up playing in the national title game? What was the difference between those two teams?
I got my head out my behind. I'll say that. There's a lot of politics in college when guys are recruited at a certain level or brought in or, they're recruited by a coach or brought in for something. Those are all the things behind the scenes. But for myself, I just started controlling everything that I could control. And I never played to lose a game but I did anything in my power to win those games. Literally everything. Because I said, look, this is my last run at these things. And I remember early in the season, we weren't a good team. Jordan was shooting the ball too much. He'll tell you that. Aaron would kind of look for his shots after that. We defended, but we weren't a team, and I took it upon myself in my senior year to say, hey, I realized that the next year my coach would be at UCLA, still the coach for probably as long as he would want to be. I had 4 years to make something happen. At that point, I had one. So I literally started playing one possession at a time, one game at a time, one moment at a time, and gave my everything to the game. And it, ended up snowballing in the proper direction, man. And we just kept winning. And, obviously you could see the talent on that team. We had enough, but, the guys bought in. And I feel like through, my leadership, you can't be a leader if you're not really talking all the talk or walking the walk and stepping up in those moments. And I just believe that going to UCLA, we had expectations of being those teams. So I just got sick and tired of not being you take your hoop career to heart, man, of not being one of the elite talents, in college basketball at that time. And I like to think college basketball still has some zip. You still have 4-year guys like J.J. Reddicks that were playing and Sheldon Williams that were, probably could have went pro earlier, but was still college guys. Everybody didn't just jump to the league still, at that time. So, again, I would just say took advantage, man, and we won. It was one possession at a time. And, every single player, starting with myself, humbled themselves and said, what can we do to win? And we got better.
Ryan, that's crazy. I want to ask you about the NBA, but I want to stay here for a second because hearing you say, I took it a game at a time, I took it a possession at a time, is such coach speak. And we always talk about how these coaches always say the same cliches, but it's true. What you're describing is quite literally what a coach would say to do. You bought into it, and the results were there. I know you're big in the TV game, in the media. You're one of us. But hearing you talk like that, did you ever consider coaching? Like, was there a sort of a pathway after you were done playing where you considered coaching instead of the media, or was it always just to jump into the media? Because clearly you have some coaching chops here if you wanted to.
Yeah, I think in the back of my mind, the fallback was like player development, that route, going to coaching or somewhat, affiliated in the game, to hang around. But I fell such in love with broadcasting. But within that, yes, I coached AAU basketball while playing in the NBA. I threw my kids' camps where I wasn't just a face on a shirt. I was hand to hand, like opening and closing the gym for the kids and just interacting, and getting in the trenches. So the later in your career, you understand, the coaches aspect and how to connect with your coaches, especially the role players, because we have to know everybody's job. I knew the point guard's job thoroughly, and you understand those things. And I would say, like, for me, the coaching only helps the broadcasting, because when I step into my job, I want to be great thoroughly. So when I speak, I can speak to you from a player's aspect. I can speak to you from a coach's aspect, from a front office aspect, and then from a fan perspective. So, bringing those things to the table help diversify my broadcast versus just saying, hey, when I played, I did X, Y, and Z. I know what the view is in the entire landscape of basketball, and that's just how diversified. So I took what some may have seen like a weakness of, Ryan Hollins is not a big-time all-star, or Ryan Hollins played for, 9 different teams or whatever. Now I say I have 9 different organizations that I have experience with, 9 different coaches, 9 different styles, hundreds, thousands of teammates through the years. Mm-hmm. And now I come with diversity and understanding versus just being the best player that was on the floor.
All right, I want to get into all that journey that you just mentioned, but let's go to the genesis. So we covered the UCLA chapter. Now you get drafted. 2nd round, Charlotte Bobcats. Do you have a draft story? What were you doing when you found out you got drafted? Take me back to draft day. What was that like for you?
Man, for one, I didn't get that green room invite like those guys. So I was like, dang, man, the dream is always to walk across the stage. But nonetheless, my agent, I went with the flow, Ty Ramazar. He had us at ESPN Zone over in Anaheim. And, my friends and family were there. And true story, because you got to think, like you mentioned, my team didn't win much. We went on a run. I played up and down, and a lot of guys who play up and down don't make it to the NBA. But all of a sudden they say, this guy is 7 feet tall, he's athletic, and he made it to the national championship game. So he found out how to win. And a lot of people didn't know how athletic I was. So when I went to the draft combine, people were like, whoa, he has a 43.5-inch vertical at 7 feet. We had no idea. We didn't see those things at UCLA. All we saw him do is set screens and, be in the right spot. It wasn't like a pro game, if that made sense. So my agent tells me, man, look, Ryan, your range could be from 10th to 50th. Wow. I believe 100% the Bobcat. If you go there, the Bobcats are going to take you. So prepare for that. And I'm like, man, I ain't trying to go Charlotte. I'm just trying to go play for the Nets, the Suns. Hey, the Lakers, man. And the Lakers had the 51st pick, and they told me, they're like, oh, we're going to draft you in the war room. And it was like, nah, things probably wouldn't end up the same way in LA. So. Man, I'm there and I'm sitting through the draft and I'm seeing these guys get drafted. I'm getting frustrated. The chip on my shoulder starts to build, and I'm going, man, like, this is crazy. I feel like I'm better than these guys. I knew I had more juice, more in the tank, and I'm just getting more and more aggravated. And I'm in this LV suit. For those who don't know, LV was the suit they give you, a draft day suit. They take care of you. And they'd have these girls come around and offer you $1,000 packages, for playing in the league. Because back in the day, we had to wear suits. It was a dress code, so they knew, man, we're gonna come in and clean up. These guys can just throw on jeans, whatever. Now it's fashion. They express themselves different. But David Stern was really cleaning the game of basketball up at that time. So sitting there, I'm getting frustrated. I'm over it, and my pops is my biggest fan, and my pops has a way of overreacting. I'm LeBron James in my pop's eyes. I can jump over the backboard. If Ryan had played in the game, they wouldn't have lost. Complete father bias, okay? LeVar Ball has nothing on Denier Hollins, okay? So my dad starts celebrating, and I look over at him, because we're watching a commercial during the draft, and I go, come on, man, like, not now, Pops, like, this is not the time, and he's celebrating, he's smiling, and he's pointing, and I'm like, during the draft, they're supposed to call your name during the draft. It's a commercial, dude. Next thing we realize, I am drafted. Talk about chip on your shoulder during a commercial. I'm frustrated.
Wow.
I started to see people celebrate. Never saw my name called or heard it.
Oh.
So I'm excited at the time. We start celebrating because you start realizing, forget the chip on your shoulder and the frustration of where you thought you were supposed to be, young man. Humble yourself. You're drafted to the NBA, and it's a whirlwind. And all of a sudden, I don't know what it's like to be drafted. Nobody talks about it. It's like having your first child. Cut the umbilical cord. Oh, I'm supposed to do that now, right? So my agent puts me on the phone with Bernie Bickerstaff. I talked to JB. We're excited to have you. And moments later, man, I'm on the phone with none other than the GOAT, Michael Jordan. And he's welcoming me to Charlotte. I'm not even thinking about Michael Jordan putting a connection there, with Charlotte. And I'm like blown away and I'm humbled. And it's like, man, this is a day, I'll never forget. So, man, I was ecstatic. It was a journey. I think basketball in that is a balance of life where, you have to have the ego. You got to be cocky. You got to know that you're better than those guys that are ahead of you. You got to have something driving you. But we have to be humble and be grateful for the things that we're given. And when you skew too high or too low on that scale of balance, man, that's where you kind of get off track. So it's that fine line, man. But I learned a lesson in humility. I'm thankful to the city of Charlotte. And on the phone with Michael Jordan, man, you talk about one of the most humbling experiences, you'll ever see or deal with, and I'm sitting there like upset, thinking everybody is against me, and then I'm talking to Mike, man, true story.
Wow.
Man, that's crazy. When you talked about the green room, that brought me back to thinking about your teammate, Adam Morrison, who did get the green room invite back in the day. Yep. Now, at the time, he was the biggest star in college basketball.
Yep.
But
sure,
there was always that meme, and it still floats around to this day, of him crying after you, the UCLA Bruins, beat him in the Sweet 16. Did you ever talk to Adam Morrison about that moment? And what was he like as a player or as a teammate?
We did talk, and I'm glad those are the moments where your integrity wins out. Adam Morrison is a friend of mine. Love that dude. And for those who don't know, I believe in all the Larry Bird comparisons for him. Wow. Because Adam had that like kind of clutch it factor. We just didn't have the system around him to develop him and put him in a proper way. He was kind of thrown in, let's see if he can do it. And then we hurt his knee. He didn't get a chance to develop. So what people don't know about that game is you see Aaron Afalo talking to him and picking him up. I ran over there first. The cameras kind of missed me doing it. I'm not saying that, that's what it's about. But when I saw Adam breaking down and crying, everybody was laughing at him and saying, how could you do this? You're not this, you're not this, you're not this. I was like, bro, that was going to be me. We were a shot away from that being me on the floor crying. And I felt like Adam Morrison, we were an unbelievable defensive team, one of the best in UCLA history, maybe college history. We set some records there. I think record in the Final Four, Elite Eight for field goal percentage. He lit us up. He could post up. He could run, pick and roll. He could mix off the bounce. Like, he had everything at 6'8". And I wanted him to know that he had nothing to hang his hat on. He's going to have a very long career in the NBA. And I thought that dude was really, really special. And I knew that, man, that could have been me. So when we connected, we vibed, man. We hung out. That's my guy right there to that day. But he knew kind of like what I did for him. You know what I'm saying? And shoot, his own teammates didn't even run over. They're probably in shock. I'm not trying to hold that against them, but we felt it was important. Like, it was like the biggest sign of respect you could show a hooper. I went over there, Aaron went over there, and Sid went over there to be like, nah, you're that dude. So people laugh at him and joke for those moments, but they forget how amazing that brother was when he played.
Special
he really was,
for sure.
He definitely was. All right, I want to ask you this because you alluded to this earlier, and I'd like for you to go deeper into this because I think it's a great message. You went on to have a long NBA career, played for a bunch of teams. Can you speak to what you learned not only about life in the NBA, but life itself for being dealt as many times as you were? You ended up playing for a bunch of teams, what people would call a journeyman type career. But I've always found in talking to you guys, you former athletes, in that situation, you gain a lot by being moved and being in different locker rooms and different voices and different coaches, playing with different teammates, things of this nature. Can you speak to that, to what you learned big picture from that?
Welcome to life, man. When I was traded from Charlotte, even though I was asked to being traded, I cried like a baby.
Wow.
It's like it's a breakup, man. Like you're severing. You can ask, like, "Hey, man, I don't want to be with you no more. It's time to move on. We're not working it out." Boy, when she finally leave, or you
Yes.
finally see her with another dude, bro,
Oh,
you're
man.
gonna be crying boo-hoo tears. It's gonna hit you different, So
Yeah.
I miss Charlotte. I understand business at a young age. When I love, when I work, when I grind, I'm emotionally invested. And stepping into situations a pro where you pick up and you move on, and learning in life that there are sometimes moments where you have to move on and you have to, get going. Because when I was in Charlotte, there were a lot of young athletic bigs or guys that were, potential they're looking at. When I went to Dallas, Eric Dampier was an OG. He was older. Dirk was older. They needed that young, athletic, springy shot blocker, rim threat. So I had like a value. And sometimes in life, we get in situations we get way down. People don't see our value. Our value's not seen. And you go into a new situation or the right situation, it'll change our whole lens and perspective. So never get down on yourself. Understand and realize your value. And I remember my vet, Nazi Muhammad, came in. Larry Brown was there. And Larry Brown traded me, but Larry sent us all to amazing places. He sent me to Dallas. He sent Adam to the Lakers with Kobe and them. He sent Jay Rich and Jared to Phoenix. So we all went to contenders and amazing places. He didn't just send us to a trash organization or a building organization at that time. He put us in good places. But I say that to say that, man, you never know where your blessings are going to come, and you treat the game right. And before I was traded, it was accountability of, hey, Larry, is he doing everything he can do? Is he working in practice? Is there something he needs to improve upon? We're just going in a different direction. Larry's job was to go in there and win. So before I asked to get traded, it made sense that I had covered everything that I could have covered. And when I moved, I was fortunate and thankful that I was never traded within those times. The times I was traded, I asked to be traded. I wasn't caught off guard. And, for our sports, if the number adds up, sometimes that can happen. You could have done nothing wrong. So I was fortunate to have actually asked for and prayerfully went through those situations.
Yeah. What veterans taught you the most during those years as a player?
Man, I try to glean from all of them, honestly. But I would say the guy who taught me the most, Othello took me under his wing as a rookie,
Wow.
and Melvin Eli and those guys. But the guy who really saved my career was Kevin Garnett. Kevin Garnett showed me that the NBA wasn't just a business. He showed me the blood, sweat, and tears and the passion that goes within the game. Kevin Garnett was also my best teacher because Kevin Garnett was long and athletic, so he could deny the high post and the full front and dare you to throw the ball over the top because he's that athletic. And he was like, you should never let anybody touch the ball. And he taught me nuances of the game. He taught me how to prepare. We come in the shoot around, KG be in a full sweat on go mode. And you're like, dang, I thought I played hard. I thought I was focused. He showed me what the mental preparation, bro, and focus was in the game. I remember, man, we played like the Wizards or something, and John is my boy. So I go up to John Wall. John, what's up, boy? You good? We work out in the summertime. Man, he slapped my hand and was like, man, go to the back. We don't conversate after games. So I learned how serious it was, how focused it was. And he helped me get to my 10 years. So I love KG for that. He knows that. That's big, bro. And I've always, KG was, bro, imagine the guy on your wall, your favorite player, you playing with him. Doc used to have a lineup with us, and off the bench, KG would go in, then he would sub out really quick for Steamer. Then he'd sub out, then I would go in, and KG would come back in. And I'm playing with KG. I never played with another big where if I hard showed on the perimeter, I know he had my back. Or if he hard showed, he could be comfortable, I help. Or I used to go up and press, and KG would just run back and get my man. Because we could guard the same person. So man, there's a picture of us high-fiving. It was bro, playing with him, it was a movie, dog. It was, I swear to God, it was every day was a move. I'm sitting there pinching myself. Listen, every day with KG, I pinch myself. So I took full advantage of that, man. I get chills, but like that brother right there, that's why I'm so glad they're doing their podcast, they're doing their stuff, because what KG brought to the table, the heart and soul, his passion, the world needed to see it. And now they're seeing it, man. They're like, man, he's intense. But you don't understand what it takes. There's levels to this grind, man. And I think he's the most complete player that we've ever seen play the game of basketball. Complete as in can pass, shoot, work hard, long, athletic, like everything. Block shots, get steals, guard the point guard, guard the center. Kevin Garnett was everything. I want to say, shoot, him and Scottie Pippen, and y'all gotta, help me with some other ones as far as complete player. Like if I put 5 Kevin Garnetts on the floor, they probably beat 5 Michael Jordans. Not that Michael's not bad,
right.
or maybe even 5 LeBron James, because he got post work too.
Right.
But man, KG just taught me how to fall in love with the game, man.
No doubt. Well, you know where we're at, Ryan, and KG is loved around here. I know your time in Boston was brief, but do you have any good stories or good experiences that you got with the Celtics while you were here?
I told you every day was a movie, man. What you want?
Other than that,
the team did everything. It wasn't basketball, bro. It was just unbelievable. I remember, where can I start, man? For one, you step into practice. Rondo was the young bull, trying to find his way, learning leadership at the time. KG understood leadership, but KG and Paul would brotherly bicker every day. But it was a group where everybody could speak to each other. So I remember one time, Paul comes in late, right? Paul, LA swag. Paul is my brother. Paul used to mentor me. We played pickup at UCLA. Okay, every summer long. Paul was the guy in the gym every day. Paul comes in the gym with, remember they had the shoes that look like hands, and they wear that, and Paul's like doing his little stretching. So we're running out and we're stretching, right? And we're doing that our whole warm-up, high knee, boo, 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 this. And then like you look over and Paul comes in late, and Paul's doing his little yoga stuff on the side. And Rondo kind of like, well, shoot, I'm about to crowd the trainer, go stretch. Because he like, that's what star players do. Every other team showed me that the star player don't have to do what y'all do, okay?
Right.
And it's little stuff, little apple stuff. Dog, KG dug into Paul. And just let him have it like, hey, Joe, how are you going to, and he used to call Rondo 9, how are you going to show 9 how to be a leader? You got 9 over here on that BS because you ain't in here early. If we trying to win, you get in here with the team. You get in here with the team. What you want? And he late. And who else is going to talk to Paul Pierce like that?
Right.
Nobody. And KG taught that walk. So it was like crazy seeing him do that. And they're the perfect compliment because Paul's loose. He's 100 confident. I'm better than Kobe. I'm better than D-Wade. I'm better than Bron. That's how Paul acts, and he walks the walk. Right. So they complemented each other in that space. Let me think another story, man. So you heard KG talk about the hoorah. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
So for one, we're playing in an old building. I assume it's the old building that the Celtics played in, same building as the TD Garden. I don't know if there was another. Okay, right. The history is old enough, right? And we would come out, and we would, we had our routine. So for one, KG would be like, "Yo, if you playing around or joking, KG would give you the look first and he touch y'all second." He like, bro, game day preparation ain't no funny stuff, right? So the routine and the timing of I'm at the table at this time, I stretch it. We were darn near taking the exact same steps as a unit. And if you are out of sync with anything, KG would be like, yo, do that, you know what, again. Do it again. So when we came out, right, everything's in timing. Doc would talk, we'd do our thing. KG over there locked in, boom, we'd go out in the hallway. So me and BB would come out in the hallway. I'll start some leg swings, sprints, start to get loose, little, getting ready, right? And then we would all trickle out in a certain timing. You could not play around and be late. You couldn't be running to the bathroom. It was an order. KG, while we doing that, KG's off to the side with B-Do. He doing his leg swing, boom, 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 leg swing side, leg swing forward, boom, 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 right? And we sitting there as we come out, and then Paul would come out a little later. That's Paul's deal. Paul and KG, the perfect complement, as we see. Paul comes out, and we'll start to get the vibe. When Paul came out, he knew what we was on. We get in the circle. We start rocking back and forth. Tickets over there in a full sweat drenched in a full sweat. Paul would scream out, "Ticket, are you ready?" Hoorah! KG come over by the full sweat. So by the time he joined the circle, we going, "Celtics, are we ready?" Hoorah!
Wow.
"Celtics, are we ready?" Hoorah! The team, there's a thin curtain, and the opposing team ain't got no warm up. They ain't got no nothing. "Fellas, are we ready?" Hoorah! We get into a line.
Wow.
We run out. As we're running out, Boston fans are different. They in their seats early. Packed house. We're running out. We know our lines. Ray Allen take his line this way. KG take his line this way. We come around. We circle, high five around the thing. Goes into a layup, if I'm not mistaken. KG does something. The same shots, the same thing. The crowd is going wild. I'm running through history. I feel like I'm taking the same as I'm running. You ever seen those like movie clips where the thing goes, or you're going through the woods, you're doing like that? I'm seeing myself running behind Kevin Garnett, this guy, as I'm coming out into the tunnel. Everybody's there. It's a movie, dog.
Yeah.
I ran through a movie. I was ready to literally run through a wall.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is an experience for the rest of my life nobody can take from me.
Right.
So when they talk about that hoorah, when KG talk about baby was crying and the emotions were going, there's nothing like that on the planet. So you tell me we not about to get after it? Dog, it was levels to this. And those dudes were mentally on a whole different, the hoorah, the rocking, the bouncing, bro, nothing like it, dog.
He looked like he ready to play now, Tay. He can play right now.
Right. Turn up the music. Let's get this going, man. Where the shorts at?
It's impossible.
Yes, sir.
It's impossible not to.
Yeah.
It's impossible not to. That's the leader. Kevin Garnett may be the greatest leader we've ever had in the NBA.
Wow.
Because he took guys and helped them believe in themselves and get better. And if the darn massage man or trainer wasn't on it, he got the business because we were a unit in Bluetooth. All for one. That was Doc, bro. That Celtic stuff, that was that. Excuse me. Now I'm saying I'm sorry. I'm not saying it wasn't Doc, but I'm saying that was KG. That was KG. Everything that built there, all the young, Perk getting paid, Baby getting paid, Leon Poe getting paid. All them dudes, KG had you feeling like 100. He used to call me video game. He's like, you dunk everything, young boy, and block everything. So I'm thinking like, I dunk and block everything.
Right.
He makes you believe, bro. It's scary, the confidence and the leadership, and a leader makes you on 10. And when I played, bro, it was war. It was war. We took it wasn't basketball. It wasn't money. You don't make 20 million and I make this when we was a team, bro. I've never experienced that in my life.
Yeah. He made me a believer. I was out there in LA at the time, and I thought that 11-12 Celtics team was winning the championship. But unfortunately, y'all ran into a Miami Heat team with a LeBron James that was focused. And you were up 3-2, but ended up losing in 7 to LeBron and that team. What was so different about LeBron James during that 2012 run?
He grew up. At that moment, LeBron James wasn't a clutch player. We knew in our hearts LeBron James wouldn't be tough enough to compete. We knew that we'd get him to the fourth quarter. We would execute. We would be a team. We had guys that make shots. We would defend. And that we knew Wade was the guy. And Avery did a great job on Wade, because at that point, it was like, yo, whose team is it? And Avery, you can't never shut out D-Wade, but like he made D-Wade work. Where D-Wade down the stretch, 1-5 ISO, he just split and pick and roll, getting to the foul line. And we had D-Wade. We was ready for him. No disrespect. You can't shut him out, but we felt like we had a team that can do that. LeBron James, they put the ball in his hands. He was at a make or break scenario where they were questioning if he was a front runner, if he had the mental to make it. And when they came into our house down 3-2 and won that game and he went off, we knew he was the greatest. And he showed that he had the mental to win at that stage. After game 7, Paul and KG they said that young boy over there like that.
Wow.
They gave him their credit. I know Paul pokes at KG at Bron, and I don't think Paul gets enough credit for how amazing of a player he was. Still is, whatever you want to say. But they gave him his credit. He got his flowers. But Bron got that look in his eyes where KG couldn't get in his head. He couldn't cuss him out. We trapped him. He was just hitting shots from the elbow. We threw every defender at him we had. I know we had injuries, but we made Bron have to work, and he put on one of the greatest performances ever. And this guy was known as a dunker. And he shoot mid-range, one-leg fadeaways.
Right.
He couldn't be broken. And it showed that LeBron has that it factor. So when I tell people LeBron is the greatest ever, when we talk like that, it's like, bro, y'all think he's soft. He has a gear that he goes to. It just looks different than what your comfort level of what the GOAT or the greatest ever looks at. And he showed me that, that dude, the difference between LeBron and Michael and Kobe and those guys, he can turn his button off and on. It's going to be preseason, and Kobe Bryant is going to be trying to go at your third string shooting guard and have 60 on him. LeBron is like, give me the night off, dog.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a different level of mental warfare. If you talk trash to LeBron, he was stoic, nothing. He was just on kill mode, and I've never seen anything like that in my life. Obviously, Bean had performances. I've seen a lot from him, but LeBron they don't give him the mental fortitude and toughness and the dog that he has. And he showed us, and to me, that was the passing the torch from D Wade was like, here, you take it. But that was their champ. We knew we lost the championship after that. We came back 3-2. We were exactly where we wanted to. We had everything mapped out, bro. And we followed the script to a T. And then we found out that dude was different.
Wow. I'm curious to know, because you played alongside so many great players. If you had to make a starting lineup of just your former teammates, I mean, it obviously sounds like KG and maybe even Paul Pierce are on there, but who would be in that lineup? Give me that starting lineup of former teammates.
And you got to include yourself, right?
Yeah, we'll put you at center.
You at the 5.
We'll put you at the 5 and then build out from there.
I can't play center because we're going to put KG at center.
Okay.
And I sure as heck can't play power forward over Dirk Nowitzki. Okay.
Oh, right.
I can't play over Dirk Nowitzki. Okay. Yeah. So we'll go for giggles, right? We'll go KG because there's all around versatility to winning. You heard the first half of the podcast.
Yeah.
We'll go Dirk, arguably the greatest big shooter ever, the guy who went head to head with all those guys and then won a championship, one of the toughest championships on his own. They always say, can you win on your own? Dirk won that bad boy on his own as the best player in the league, okay?
For sure.
He set the stage and the greatest European basketball player we have ever seen, okay? Yep. I'll go Paul Pierce.
Okay.
I'll stay Paul at the 3. I don't think we take Paul off because I never played with Kobe, never played with Bron, and Paul could go head to head with those guys pound for pound. On any given night, Paul Pierce had games where he had the better of those guys. He needs to be mentioned in those conversations. You know what I'm saying? He needs respect on his game. At the shooting guard spot, this is where we get intriguing. Maybe am I missing someone? Let me take a deep thought because I have a name in mind that you probably didn't think that I played with. But I'm gonna go. Let me think if I'm missing somebody. I'm gonna go with none other than half man, half amazing. Vince Carter is gonna play my shooting guard spot, and at the point guard spot, man, this is tough because I had some point guards. Okay, I had Baron Davis boogieing. I had Mike Conley boogieing. I had Jason Kidd. Oh my goodness! Like you know what I'm saying? I might even be missing or forgetting some point guards.
Chris
that I
Paul?
Woo! Say the best for last. We're going to start Chris Paul.
Wow.
We're going to start Chris Paul. So I got Chris Paul, half man, half amazing, Paul, KG, and Dirk. And shoot, I almost feel like I'm missing someone in a crazy way. Or maybe I had someone when they were young. I don't know. Riri. Riri. Or Riri got to be sixth man.
Yeah, you bring him off the bench.
Kyrie or Vince, just to say, we need the shooting, so I can go Riri. I can go there, but he got to be sixth man. That's crazy, but he could easily start at the one or the two.
Yeah. 100%.
Dang, I'm trying to think. Is there anybody? Yeah, I think I'll stay. Yeah, I'll stay there.
You blessed, man. You play with a lot of greats this game has ever seen. That's a blessing.
For sure. Look, I got to ask you about this. We like to talk about music on this show all the time, right? So I got to know, what were you bumping during your playing days? Who were you listening to in that G-Wagon on the way to the game,
I feel like he's a rock boy. I feel like he's a rock boy. He was listening to Jay. I don't know, though.
You know what's funny? I definitely, at UCLA, Jason Flowers, my big bro, put me on Jay-Z, like on some real Reasonable Doubt.
Yeah.
Like Jay-Z was it. Because we were still kind of, pretty boys a little bit. I grew up Tupac. So I always got love for Pac. West Coast, we didn't want to be pretty boys. We smoothed over and finally came. And then I want to say when I got to Charlotte, I remember being in the club and kind of like developing a taste for the South music. So I was on the Jeezy, I was on the Lil Wayne, those plays. But I think, Lil Jeezy definitely got me going at that moment. And then, Drake definitely towards the end of my career, took over, and Rick Ross, Rick Ross also had hit after hit after hit. You know what I'm saying? So I want to say Drake came later on, and hopefully they can smash their beef and make some more hits. You know what I'm saying? So those are probably, those are the hits. Those are the guys that brought it, But Ross got himself a collection. You know what I'm saying? I don't think 50 really gave you like before the game, music. 50 has hits, so definitely Many Men and all that. That was kind of like, I think, high school and college for me. But NBA, I would say Rick Ross had a long run. Jeezy had a run in there. And then obviously Drake, man, like he had everybody, singing in their feelings. Drake could give you the in your feelings moment,
Yep. No doubt. All right, so this is the last one for me. I want to know about this current Celtics team and your thoughts on them, how they've, been put together. Are you a fan of Tatum? Are you a fan of Jaylen Brown? What do you think of the job that Brad Stevens has done putting this team together? And do you believe that we're going to see a repeat champion here? Are they about to start and embark on another championship run in your mind?
Well, for one, I called those guys what they were from rookies. I was like, players that big shouldn't be that versatile and bona fide. And I saw that Jason Tatum, I was like, yo, he's a little boy. Like, he's young. Like, so once he puts on some muscle, it's going to be a wrap. And once I saw him going to the hole, got stronger, like bullying guys, man, I was like, you can't guard him, dog. Like, you can't guard him. He's the top, and he ain't scared. He ain't scared of nothing. JT ain't scared of nothing. And Jaylen is a dog too, bro, because he's big. He can defend. He's got size. So I knew for them, it was really a matter of time, and they had to get over their lumps to win.
Yep.
I love Brad, man. Like, if y'all can see, I'm a real hooper. So you don't always didn't get that from me on First Take or those things. Like the integrity of the game means something to me. So like, man, me and Brad Stevens were in Vegas. He was there for USA Basketball. One time we just sitting, we were waiting for a ride or so. We just started talking basketball, X's and O's and something. I'm like, yeah, you're a real hoop nerd. Like, so Brad, hats off to him to have the, humility to step into the front office and say, I'm going to build this. I'm not going to hate on the next coach or the next man. I'm going to build this because I kind of saw what it takes from a coaching aspect. So hats off to Brad for what he did. And Danny did an amazing job. Danny's only mistake is not giving me a contract to come back. But it's all good, Danny. I'll give you the pass there. But ultimately, when I look at this team, I think when they won, the one thing that stood out and they showed, because the NBA is so fast, you got to be deep. And the Celtics showed that they were deep enough and had trust in their 10th and 11th man to keep Jason Tatum rested. And what that did is say, man, Jason Tatum, you didn't win a championship. You and Jaylen Brown, the way we're used to championships, won with the best player taking all the shots, putting the ball in his hand, taking all the shots, stepping up. And JT is like, I'm playing in the system. JT doesn't get enough credit, similar to Steph Curry, as giving himself to the system and letting that ball come back around to him and then winning. Because if you notice, as the playoffs went on, these stars started getting hurt. The pace of the game, forcing you to defend. And Boston was fresh, so they start just blowing people out. So I think teams are going to have to lean on their depth, and Brad Stevens understands that, the long race, and it ended up winning out. Clearly, they're the favorites. My Houston Rockets right there in the mix. I think the Rockets are, 1A and 1B as far as depth. Go look at the Rockets' depth there. But I will say they're definitely the favorites, not just because they're a guy, the big dogs, they're big three, but the pieces that they have. Derek White, keep this up. He's going to be up there with Scottie Pippen as far as being one of the greatest role players ever.
Absolutely.
And Scottie, I'm not trying to disrespect you when I say role player. You just did your damn job at a very high level. I hate that some people he's not a star. He's a superstar role. He did his job.
Yes.
Scottie Pippen, Klay Thompson, a guy who does his job, who can hit a big shot. And I think Derek White as like your fourth option, and like the guy loves it. Like, I've never met a guy, him and Drew Holiday, right? The two guys who love it.
Yeah.
I want 2 points all game, and I got the loose ball and hit the game winner or the game winning tip. And you got two guys who love that role, and they're really good. And Derek White was a dog in San Antonio. When I saw that move, I was like, yeah, they got a good one. He's like that. He's like that. So that makes them hard to beat. Their depth.
Yeah, that's that Pac-12 basketball for you. Rest in peace to the original Pac-12. And that's the Pac-12 original basketball. Last one for you, Ryan. I got to ask you this. You talked about yourself being a real hooper. You've been around a lot of other real hoopers. You coach AAU basketball. What is the most important thing a youth basketball player in 2024 should be working on their game?
Do you love the game? I can't have the conversation if you don't wake up for free, if you're not trying to find the gym, if you're not talking basketball, if your video games ain't basketball video games, if you aren't sitting there obsessed and just love the game. Love the game first. Parents, teach your kids to love the game, enjoy it. Let them play for fun. Now when I play for fun, it's not work when I got to put you through drill work. When I got to put you through drills, it's not fun. Be versatile. Because as the game moves on, all these tall guys are going to be shooting threes and posting up. They're just going to be taking basketball players. If you see basketball players are trending, so that's why size and height is coming back into the game of basketball. And the best players in the league, you can argue Joel Embiid, Jokic, Giannis, if you want to say he's a big also. The best players in our league are bigs now, and that's kind of like the dominance there, but they're skilled, they're unique, they're big, they're different, but I would say, first off, love the game. Love the game. Do it for free. I've never worked a day in my life. This damn game been good to me, man. I've never worked a day in my life. So that's the biggest intangible, because now when I'm like, man, let's get up at 5 a.m. and go run or go hoop, or like, dang, we got to drive an hour to go. Dog, have you driven 2 hours to hoop? And I'm not talking AAU, because everybody got to travel for AAU. Do your parents have to wake you up to go to practice, AAU practice? Right. Or you itching to get out the door? Right. You know what I'm saying? So do you love the game? Because now we can work. That's 1A for me. Love the game.
That's well said, Ryan. We appreciate you, man. We appreciate you coming on. And look, Rockets Celtics in January. So we want to bring you back, break down and preview that game as well. We appreciate it, man. You have a home here, and we just want to have you back as many times as we can, brother. We appreciate you.
Anything y'all need, man. Shout out Grady for doing a great job behind the scenes. I mean, y'all boys keep it up, man. Fun. Sir. I'm a hoop nerd. We can sit there and talk hoop all day, man. He knows it.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Ryan.